Good afternoon, once again, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you once again for joining us on SBC Summit Tbilisi and taking your time to attend this panel discussion, which is about the Euro 2024. Before jumping onto the questions, please let me introduce our dear panelists. So please welcome one more time Chris Bird, who was the keynote speaker and who actually opened our today's summit. Chris, one more time to mention, is the founder of EQ Esports and Gaming, and also ex-Manchester City COO. Please meet Nika Vudushauri, who is the Chief Operations Officer of BetLive.com. BetLive, this is a Georgian betting operator, very successful. They've been launched not so far, and still they managed to secure quite impressive results and good place onto the Georgian gaming market. Please meet Vasilii Gamov, who is currently the CEO of Peaky. Peaky, this is the traffic source agency, the marketing agency, which is mainly oriented onto the iGaming and gaming traffic and working with the betting operators and the betting sector in general. And so I will now start our panel discussion, which is one more time about the Euro 2024, which is very hot topic actually, because we are now into the Euros. And this is very special moment for Georgians, and I will use this occasion and one more time will congratulate our team for qualifying, because this is historic moment. We've qualified for the first time, although we are really big fans of football and Georgia lives with football. And currently our team is in Germany, and tomorrow there is very important game against Portugal. By the way, so we will have the live broadcasting of that game in Republic Center tomorrow at 11 p.m. with a free drink, so before the party starts or when there will be the party, so in parallel we'll have football game. So as this is the most hot topic, so I would start, and what is also why we have these speakers onto the panel, we wanted to have the different angles from the different point of views about the Euros, not only from the betting operator or the football club or the esports or the marketing or traffic, but to have in general view. I would still start with Nika Vudushauri because he is from Georgia, and Nika, please let's give us a little bit overview about what it meant for us from the business perspective, from social perspective, to qualify for the Euro, and what it meant for your business.
Hello everybody, welcome to Tbilisi, glad to see you here. So as Lasha mentioned, we first time in our history went through final stage of Euro 2024, so this is pretty big thing for all the Georgians, and we saw that from operators' perspective and also as just fans. So it's very important thing because Georgia is very big fan of any sports, and especially football is very popular, and we saw how whole country was cheering for that. In terms of operating thing, and in terms of if we talk about BetLive, so we made pretty interesting things, and we saw how it was important to do and to be with all the country, what they were. Sorry for that. So we were doing. We made a pretty good charter. We made a charter where we have introduced our colleagues and our partners, betting partners, and so I'm a little bit nervous, to be honest.
Absolutely no problem. And by the way, so we were lucky that we were also introduced on that charter and on the tour. We've been in Hamburg. We attended Georgia's game against Czech Republic, where we gathered the first point, in the historical point, and we were a bit frustrated because we think that at the end of the day we could also secure 3 points, but that's not the problem. So
Yeah,
continue.
I'm going to continue. Yeah, I just wanted to mention that pretty good story. So, well, we were very glad that Georgia came to Euros, and we have organized a business trip where we have invited our partners, also influencers, YouTubers, our colleagues, and we made it to Hamburg and cheered to our country. And also, it wasn't the best final score because we were waiting for win. But anyways, after some time, we understood that we should be happy with that, and we believe that. And still, at the moment, we have a chance to go to final stage and to go to knockout stage. So we are happy to be part of this.
Okay, and in terms of the Nika, well, just a follow-up question in terms of the business itself. So I guess that there was a when there is Euro, there is always a boost. But when Georgia qualifies, is this also directly affecting the bet?
Of course, yeah. It is not surprised that on the days when Georgia plays, a lot of people are betting, and we have absolutely different activities. But still, having Georgia on Euro 2024 made Georgians like Euros even more, and we see that a lot of new acquisitions, a lot of new players are betting, and also like average stakes are changing and dramatically increasing, and especially in play betting as well. And yeah, it's a pretty significant difference, and we see that like everybody is playing, and the exceed. I mean, the forecast that we have even exceeded. So it's very big and very cool to see that.
Okay, thank you. Chris, from the different perspective what you faced so far in your brilliant career in the sports business, so if we speak specifically about the partnerships that are done between the football clubs, between the betting operators around the Euros or around the other big tournaments, what are the impacts of that?
I think it's changed so much over the years. I think now, like I was talking before about fandom and about fans really being engaged with tournaments, with the game, and with the individuals. I think the Euros this year are demonstrating that with the majority of the betting companies. If you see some of the advertising that they're doing, it's not all about odds. You know, they are being more entertaining, they are being more engaging. There's much more influencing going on, entertaining influencing, using a lot of comedy. So there is a real change in the way the betting companies are really engaging with the consumer than previous years. You know, previous years it was that's the odds, that's the bet, have a go. Now it's very much about total engagement and the culture of the whole tournament.
And what is very interesting in this is also that on this Euro there is Betano, who is the official betting partner of the Euro 2024. Previously there was no betting operator who was officially sponsor. Can you give your...
I think the changes come in football mainly, that there is an understanding between the betting companies and sport that, as I mentioned earlier, you know, there's a commercial side, but there's a social purpose to it, and the betting is part of the entertainment. You know, I know. I think
should be the part of the entertainment.
Yeah, it should be part of the entertainment because you feel more engaged, and as long as people are sensible about it, and as long as it's positioned in the right way, then it should be part of the enjoyment. And I think UEFA, as a governing body, have embraced that.
Vasilii, can you give your insight about Betano being for the first time around the Euro official sponsor, which is visible everywhere?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be like a skyrocket for this brand because if we watch in official numbers of like predictions in 2018, 2016, I mean it was 2 billion euros market only in Europe, and this year it's expected to become 3 billion euros market in Europe. So Betano will grab a big part of this revenue for sure. And we talk only about Europe, but we can talk about Africa, we can talk about Latin America, where people also watch this championship. So I think they will profit much of it, and what's more, they will get trust, what means long-term relationships with their consumers. That is the most important thing. So I think that's a really cool idea to have some like Betano or any other brand in future, like a general sponsor of such championships.
Yeah, because I think there would be always a big demand for that, but UEFA was against this. But now we see that the situation is changing, because at the end of the day, betting operator is the best partner for sports and for football in particular, right? Because we see lots of partnerships between the betting operators and the football clubs, or the football leagues, or the tournaments. And I think that without that, even so, when we were analyzing around the sports broadcasting, so the majority partnerships come from the betting sector. So how should this be distributed also to other tournaments? How you feel that? The partnerships, like for the World Cup, for example, which will be also upcoming.
I think it's only a matter of time. I think with the World Cup may be different because depending on what region of the world that they're in, so there might be a little bit of difference to that. But I think it'll become the norm. You know, if you look at the UK in terms of the way the football fan acts on match day, yes, it's a very simple process that we grew up with. It's you go to the match, you've got your ticket, you go in the ground, you buy your pint of beer, you get your pie, and you have a bet. That's it. And then you watch the game. That's the experience. The only thing that's changed now is you don't go and do your bet with your pen and paper. You do it on your app. And also, you're watching a game and you can do it in play, which is even more entertaining. And I think that's just going to come all the way through.
Yeah. Okay, Vasilii, please about the recent trends in terms of the traffic acquisition, right? Because when Euro is starting, everybody is looking, I mean, the betting operators for more traffic, because more traffic means more monetization, right? What trends do you notice, and what are some kind of interesting topics you might share with the audience?
Yeah, exactly. As we already discussed, some trends with Premier Leagues, with championships, with sponsoring big events, big football teams, and so on. It's like obvious trend. What we have more besides regular marketing channels, influence marketing, which was already mentioned here. It's growing like in a really fast way everywhere on YouTube, on TikTok, on Facebook, everywhere on the internet. You can see a lot of such stuff. For sure, we should mention AI technologies, and not only in part of smart behavior analysis of patterns on betting side, but also in part of traffic. I saw already a lot of channels, for example, on Telegram or some bots on websites, which predicts results of the games. And if this bot is done in a good way, it analyzes the whole data which betting operators also provide on their website. So it analyzes and come up with predictions. So people follow it, place the bets and so on. So this is the second trend. And this second trend can be supported by prediction activities in official groups. For example, the moderator of the community on Facebook or on any platform can make his own predictions just to share his experience, and people can follow and watch, something like influencing marketing, I would say here. So I think this is the two biggest trends nowadays in part of marketing channels.
Okay, and you mean all the markets and which markets you mean?
I mean all the markets where we have internet connection, like generally speaking Europe, Latin America, a big part of Africa also, because the coverage of the internet and mobile devices in Africa is growing. It's already about 40% if I'm right, and it's growing. But even there, where they have no internet access, there are betting operators acting with SMS. you can place bets with SMS. Maybe you remember something like in 90s or early 2000 years. You can buy ringtones or something with SMS. So they use the same technology, but to place bets via SMS. So if we talk about not internet markets like some parts of Africa, yeah, SMS betting is the trend right now also.
Yeah, very interesting. I've heard about that. Nika, about the partnerships with the sports and the sportsmen, that I'm quite aware that you are very active in, right? Because you've signed some of major sportsmen in Georgia. You also have some experience working with the clubs, financing some leagues, right? So is there something specific that you managed during the Euro, or it's general?
At the moment, for the Euros, no, there is nothing specific, but generally speaking, it is a partnership gives very, very important and very good marketing opportunities to the company. So with these kind of partnerships, we build brand awareness and gain trust, which is crucial for our sector. And also, it is very important to notice that, of course, we're a digital company and we need digital presence, but partnerships gives us opportunity to do some offline marketing, I mean traditional marketing. For example, we are sponsoring one of the most popular amateur football leagues, BetLive Master League. Also, there is some racing tournament, BetLive Racing Season, and these kind of tournaments give us chance to and ensure to have offline marketing. A lot of people are going to these tournaments. So, at the other hand, I believe that sports on their side, besides financial support, they have very good market awareness as well, because a lot of big investments are going to this to promote these partnerships, and the end customer has better content to watch and bet and have more fun.
And you mentioned about the Master League, which is one of my favorite projects, as I also, when I have time, participate there. It's the Amateurish Football League, the largest in Georgia. Does Master League have something special edition dedicated to Euro for
No.
this summer?
Not for the Euro, but very good thing to mention is that, well, our help, so we are working already 2 years, so we are going to prolong our contract. So we are acquiring new regions of Georgia. So in the beginning it was just played only in Tbilisi, and at the moment it's played in other parts of Georgia, and in total there are like 10,000 of just players, plus a lot of people are coming, and it is very, nice, I think, for veterans or just sports lovers to do that. So unfortunately for you, we do not have anything new for that, but still.
Okay. What about the some differences? Because we know that Euro, this is once in 4 years, right? World Cup, it's once in 4 years, but we do have like Premier League and the other leagues which are played annually and which are the seasonal stuff, right? So, what is the biggest? The difference is the time frame we know, but what is the impact of the traditional seasonal tournaments versus the once in 4 year tournaments onto the sports, onto the betting, onto the society, onto the general, let's say, sports lifetime?
I think from a betting point of view, obviously the games that are every week are easier for somebody to understand who's at the peak and who's not at the peak, so you can have a bet and maybe have more wins than losses. But when it's every 4 years, you don't know how a team's going to perform. I mean, I'm not an England fan, I'm a Republic of Ireland fan. We didn't even qualify, but nobody saw the performance coming that England did in the first 2 games. They were very, very poor. But the fans would have piled on to bet for England to win both games, and probably win both games big. And the bookies will be delighted because they win. But I think that's the difference between the the weekly games and the tournament play for sure. From a society point of view, I think the Euros and the World Cup bring a huge, not just investment, but huge social investment into the territories that they go to. So in Germany, there is so much activation in the schools, in the colleges, and in the streets of showing the really good side of football from a social point of view. And that's done with the World Cup as well. Wherever they go, they take a whole show to town. And the clubs that are working week in, week out in the domestic leagues, they're doing that every day and every week. So, there's huge impact, whether it's a tournament or whether it's the week to week.
Vasilii?
Chris, thank you for covering almost all the stuff, but I have something to add still. If we talk about Euro 2024 or World Cup big championships, I mean, in comparison to Premier Leagues or European League or something, the audience varies there. Because during championships like Euro 2024, we see a lot of newcomers, I would say, and they will place bets only during the tournament. So the question in part of marketing here is how to engage them into the product, into more bets with Premier Leagues, which you mentioned, with other sports and so on. And it's not so easy. Mostly they will disappear after some period of time, like after 1-2 months after Euro. You will see like regular profits out of your brand, out of your operator activities. But that doesn't mean they disappear forever. For sure, you should try some engagement campaigns like emails, push notifications, SMS, and so on. Suggest them their football activities, like favorite football players from football team, national teams plays in some clubs. So this is obviously a reason to do. But generally speaking, most probably you should keep this database till the next big championship, like World Cup or Euro, not to over spam it, because if you spam them too much, trying to get the most of the profit these days, you will lose in long term. So you should save this database and reactivate it during the next big championship. This is the main idea and the main difference between these leagues, I would say.
Mika, you want to add?
Yeah, I'm gonna add something. Well, the first main thing that creates big difference between these two championships is that Euros and World Cups are played amongst countries, well, nations, of course, and it's one thing to support the local team, and it is second thing to see your national country competing amongst most good nations in the world, and it is a totally different story, and this creates a lot of new differences. So in terms of betting, as Vasilii mentioned, the acquisition is absolutely different in this case, so it is absolutely unmatched experience from customers, and as Betano, which we discussed previously, so this kind of placements gives opportunity for betting operators to kind of create new sentiments, good positive sentiments to customers, to work with them for a long time.
Yeah, I think one thing to look at as well with the tournaments, you were saying about it brings a new customer, and then where do you go next with that new customer? I think sometimes the betting companies miss out on the road to the championships, the qualifiers. That's the journey. That new customer is take them on that whole journey, and I think that's where the betting companies will find a real uptick in terms of newcomers coming into it by actually giving them a series of activity rather than just the tournament. And if you take them on that journey together, then maybe they turn into a regular customer.
And Euro, so you observe Euro as the betting operator as the period where you're looking for monetization and generating revenue, or where you're looking at getting the new customers, or where you're looking at having the existing customers more loyal, because if they are winning, so you're paying, you are giving out the good promotions, etc. So what is the main purpose of the Euro for you as the business?
So the main purpose would be marketing still, so acquisition would be the first thing, and we do not plan like to monetize all the time, but since this Euros is going the way it is, so monetizing is pretty good to be honest, but of course, yes, the most important thing is to do good marketing and acquire new customers and to gain brand awareness. But of course, as Chris mentioned, it is very hard to win on Euros and World Championships because, well, things are changing for 4 years, you know, and you do not expect what to bet, and that's why monetization also goes well. But along with that, expenses are pretty big, you know, so main thing would be still awareness.
Yeah, and it's. I remember the Euros. Maybe it was 2000 when there were like logics in all quarterfinals, and almost. The Georgian bookmakers, like maybe 50% of them were closed because they couldn't pay out. But at the same time, I remember, I won't name. It will be the advertisement, but I won't name the name of that betting operator. Their founder said that, look, this is the best time, because I have lost so much, but I will pay, and this will be the best marketing campaign for the rest of the lifetime of this brand, and it proved to be like that. So our colleagues on the previous panel mentioned that casino is more stable in that way, because you do have the certain percentage, you know the limits. In terms of the Euro or the World Cup, so who knows what will happen? Maybe in 2 days you will lose so much. I'm a betting operator, right? That it's not easy to pay, but at the same time, so paying to the customer, this is the best marketing, because this is the word of mouth, and this is what makes the reputation, right? Chris, about the so football clubs are observing Euro in a different way, because, for example, Manchester City. So this is the period where their players are participating into different countries, for the different countries, representing the club at the same time. And for the club, when a football player participates well, this is a great advertisement. But if there is a poor performance, if there is a red card, if there is a critics, etc., so it's not as good. Yeah, so it's a little bit risky and tricky for the football club.
Yeah, as a football club, you always look at the players going out and hope that they come back fit. And if they come back fit and they've had a good tournament, then great. If they've had a bad tournament, then the club has to pick the player back up again. There's so many times where you saw, way back when David Beckham had such a bad tournament when he got sent off, and the absolute horror that he went through as a person, not just a player. The club has to pick that player up. As soon as they leave the England camp or the Georgian camp, the FA wash their hands. It's down to the club then to pick it up. So, there's a lot of that. And then other clubs, not Man City, but other clubs would be looking at players at the Euros and thinking, that's a player we fancy looking at. Maybe not for this coming season, but for next, that's one to watch. And I think a lot of people have been watching the Georgian team for sure in the UK, because you talk to many of the pundits in the UK, and they have been very, very excited by what they've seen from a Georgian side that have played with so much flair and commitment and passion. That's what the Premier League wants.
Because you mentioned the case of David Beckham, for example, because at that time, for example, Manchester United is doing pretty well, David Beckham is the leader, and boom, red card there is creating the problems to Manchester United. Indirect problem, but with a direct.
Yeah, I mean, you imagine he came back home, and when he was playing at Old Trafford, he was cheered, he was the hero. Every ground that he went to around the country hated him, and he had to put up with that every week. And that just showed his character, of how he got through it. And I think that's what, clubs don't want that to happen to a player. They want them to have a safe tournament and a successful tournament.
Exactly. By the way, who haven't watched the series on the Netflix for the Beckham movie, so I hardly recommend, because It's really worth watching. Okay, I think that little by little we have to move to the questions from the audience, not to be out of time. Are there any specific games in other countries, like Buraseka in Georgia, that works well and might be integrated into other countries? What's the process? This is the card games that we do have, the local card games in Georgia. I think we will skip this question. What is the future of betting? How AI and VR will change it in the future? This is an interesting question. Vasilii, you can start and we can go.
Yeah, I already started covering this topic a little bit with mentioning Telegram bots or website bots in part of AI and predictions. Also, for sure, AI is already implemented in several betting and casino operators. They analyze behavioral patterns, they predict the dangerous behavior, like if we talk about responsible gambling and responsible betting, it's also a good idea. Also, you can analyze your data in a good way, like online, because still there are a lot of brands who analyze on a daily or even on a weekly basis, but with AI you can analyze online, you can get data from the market, from your clients, so it speeds up all your processes, it speeds up all your marketing activities. If you connect this AI-based data analysis with marketing activities, like with triggers, when a player wins, when a player loses, when to make bets and so on, you can increase marketing revenues, you can provide the best experience, you can combine your platform based on customer wishes, customers' tastes, which sport he likes, which football team, for example, he follows, and put it on the main page. Customized platforms like for every customer. What else about VR activities? I think so. I know some companies works right now on some VR apps to place bets online. Also, what we do on websites, you can follow the players, place bets on their next move, the amount of corners and so on. So great future, I guess, for AI and VR. VR, not so sure, but for AI, for sure, I think.
Nika, are you using AI currently in BetLife for analyzing the data?
Well, personally we use, but not official, let's say that for analyzing. We have some providers who do that for us, but I believe that in the future, as AI is doing a lot of good things in all the sectors, gambling sector will not be different. And I'm gonna add also some AR and VR, because I believe that it can change not only betting but whole gambling sector. I see that kind of in the future, that people may have just glasses and go through, I don't know, poker tables or stadiums or something like that. So I believe that's a thing that we can consider and see in the future. It may be even more fun.
Chris?
I think that we'll see more on the AI and VR with the big tournaments first. You know, we're saying there about going seeing the game live or being closer to the action. Not everybody can travel to the other side of the world to watch the World Cup, but if you've got the VR technology, then that's going to take the fan closer to the action. I think AI is only going to enhance the experience because of the data, the research that comes out of that, and also just the implementation of different gamification and different opportunities for people to bet and to win in different ways. It just makes it more entertaining. But it'll need control, of course. You know, at the moment it's all about human error or human wins.
But who will control it?
Well,
who do we trust?
As long as it's not the referees in England who do the VAR, we'll be okay.
Yes, there were the special requests from the Clubs Association, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
But they aren't renewing.
If you notice, the only game that had any incidents in the Euros so far with VAR was operated by English referees.
English referees, but fortunately VAR for Georgian national team, so it is helping us so much.
Just pray that you've not got an English referee tomorrow.
Yes. Okay, so interesting question about Lasha, we love you legend. Thank you, whoever it is. With the boom of interest towards sports betting, how can the operators, with the boom of interest towards sports betting, how can the operators differentiate themselves from their competitors and effectively accumulate traffic? I think, yeah, you guys.
Yeah, for first thing that comes to mind is also influencers and partnerships and brand ambassadors that we discussed previously. Also, several years ago, product was very important, and I believe that today it becomes even more important because a lot of companies bring to customers new solutions, new betting offers, or some visuals, better user experience. It is not a surprise to have good odds or do something like that. So I believe that marketing is one of the most important things, and also betting solutions. So offer. So in that terms, I believe that in the future, so all the companies, all the betting companies will try to go through Euros and World Cups and present themselves, differentiate themselves from other competitors with ambassadors and stuff like that.
But although I would comment onto the odds on the Georgian game, so international operators had higher odds than Georgian ones.
Yes, well, you are pretty much aware about 2021's regulation, so that changes pretty much changed a lot. Georgian market, we have adapted and made a lot of changes to our offer, let's say. And that's why, unfortunately, we see that today, yeah. But still, I can say that we have much better promotions. So.
Yes, that I noticed also, so I placed a bet on BetLive, by the way.
Thank you for that. Okay.
Yeah, what to add here? For sure, technologies. Your advantage is technology nowadays. That's obvious for everybody who is not using AI. Needs time, I would say. Same about VR. About ambassadors, classical marketing channels, for sure, it's always about how to create a better promotion. So think about promotions, what bonuses you should provide, some deposit insurance, or some social media activities like placing bets, getting points, and change these points for example, for Euro merchandise or something. So it's about how far you should go with promotion. If we talk about additional activities, I think if you have like a holding system or you have enough sources, you should think about additional experience you can provide your customer with. For example, create medias about sports. For example, create special merchandise, special promotions, special activities, events for your customers where they can come, not only like this forum, but also for players. What else? And finally, I'm sure, for sure, totally agree with all you told already. One more thing I would like to add, we talked a lot about marketing, about money and so on. We should talk a little bit also about taking care of customers, because betting is also emotional experience for a lot of players. So you should follow it. We're running out of time. You should follow your customer's experience. If he loses, provide him with the bonus, provide him with the communication that it's a pity, but here is the bonus. Don't be so upset and so on. So take care of your customers. Don't consider them only like as customers or consumers. They are people finally, so take care of them. This is advice, is what you can do.
For me, very simple. Culture, personality, fandom. It's not a customer, it's a fan. And what you need to create is that culture that they're fans of you, the betting company, as well as the fans that they're betting on, and you've got to build that culture together. And I think when you get that loyalty of the fan that follows the team, you can build that loyalty into your brand, that fan follows what you're doing as a betting company, because the culture's right. You've got the personality that they relate to. and they can see that you recognise the fans. Yes, you treat them as customers, but you recognise them as what they think of themselves as, is not just a customer, they're a fan.
Okay, take that into the consideration. Thank you very much. Thanks for the lovely audience for participating. Thanks for the Q&A, and thanks for our lovely panelists that shared their expertise on the different topics. And so please enjoy the rest of the day.